Previously on Dances with Dice. When last we left our heroes, Eisen, the half-elf cleric, Karma, the tiefling wizard, and Amiria, the elven monk. They had successfully negotiated with an ancient dragon and gained a new ally in their war, while also saving the town of Cherrywood and collecting the artifact known as the Eye of Kronos. Now, as our heroes have but a moment to breathe and recollect themselves, what new dangers and challenges await them this week on Dances with Dice?
All right, so all of you guys are take about a week of time in the town, help clean some things up when the dragon landed and crushed a bunch of stuff. You guys help with cleaning out some of the loggers as they're still hanging around. Mathis hangs around and kind of catches up with you guys for a little bit, kind of fills you in on his time in the town and what he had been doing. He mentions very specifically when you guys tell him that you're all in Neverwinter now, that he's going to start, once he wraps up his affairs here, he's going to make his way north to meet with you guys because you obviously still have a lot to talk about. He hands over the sword that had been kind of time touched and was full of that time touch energy. It still has some of that in a residual way. It's not as strong as when the time lock was happening. But he gives that to you to be studied and see if you can make heads or tails of it. While you're in the town, because there's not necessarily a huge amount of stuff to do, but is there anything you wanted to do while you guys were in the town? Any loose ends you wanted to wrap up? Anything like that?
Did we kill the guy? I cannot remember.
The dragon ate him.
The dragon vored him.
Okay.
Dragon vored him. Wife decided to stay in the town and try to make a life of things. So that all's well that ends well.
She's
there.
almost kind of yeah.
Should we introduce her to your dad or something? Oh my god, what?
Look,
Nobody wants to think about their dad having
man.
sex.
He can introduce his fucking self. God, I hate you.
I am offering to give you a mother, and you're mad at me that I'm not offering unto myself.
You wanted to be my mother 5 minutes ago.
Oh, I still do, but I'm trying this cool new thing where I give.
Amelia, can we please leave?
Yes, immediately.
All right. You guys are able to take the car back to Neverwinter.
What is Mathis doing? Wait, I guess before we leave, is he now an ally that we can call upon in this war, or
he is?
Or do we need to have a chat to be yo, we might need you, world-ending shit.
He's roughly aware of He's roughly aware that something's going on between the attack on the ship and now what's happened in the town. He's aware that some fucky-wucky's happening in the world. And it's not that he's unconvinced, but he was already doing his own sort of investigation. It's why he came to the town in the first place. So he is going to meet you in Neverwinter, and at that point, it'll kind of be a meeting of the minds sort of thing, and figure out, okay, what's the best course of action forward. So it's not that he's not an ally, but it's also not I guess the best way I could put this is not this is Dragon Age Inquisition where you're swapping out party members right now. You have.
Well, no, I'm just saying because we gain the dragon as an ally, so I'm saying is he someone who we're yo, we're it'd almost be more of right now we're not playing Dragon Age Inquisition, we're playing Dragon Age Origins, and we're going around being gathering allies and being
okay. Oh yeah, okay. If we're using that comparison, the dragon is definitely more Origins style, where when the moment comes, you can call on me.
It's Horizon Zero Dawn.
We are really splitting these video game metaphors
Oh
a
my
little
God.
too much.
I'm just
Alex.
saying, like, what?
Alex needs to cosplay Iron Bull.
Oh.
Yes.
We have lost the plot
I
of
wanna
the movie.
I'm sorry.
Alistair, I'm sorry. Alistair,
That's
my
fair.
boy.
That's
Why
fair.
will no one cosplay my husband?
There are plenty of people who cosplay
No one
your
will
husband.
cosplay my iron husband.
No one cosplays Iron Bull.
No one
That would be pretty
cosplays my
funny.
man.
Because he's huge and those
I
horns
know.
are a hazard.
I know.
Okay, but no, to kind of like split the metaphor, like the Redarth is very much when the time comes, you can call on me. Mathis is more of I'm not going to like come with you on every adventure, but like say for example there's like two things going on, like you can do A or B. You might be able to like use him like, hey, we have to do A, can you handle B, sort of thing.
Gotcha. Oh, so like it's kind of like the missions board where you can be like
It's basically you have a new member of the mission board.
Gotcha. Is he so okay? Cool. Gotcha.
That's the best description
It's
I
almost
can
kinda like
give.
if you ever played World of Warcraft, you know how you have like your
Oh god, don't fucking remind me of any of those terrible ass systems.
Oh,
I hate
God.
the things. I'm
I
getting
didn't-
WoD
I
flashbacks
didn't
right
play
now.
during that, but my friend did. So like you could send your champions out on like different
Yeah.
missions and whatnot.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
kind of like that.
Yes, yeah. So you now have a mission board. It's
Gotcha.
fucking Warlords a Drainer. It's gonna trigger and get like 90% of our WoW playing audience to leave this show immediately.
I don't know why I have this thing out. I'm using this microphone.
Okay, so the since that kind of clears up your time there, you guys get back in the car, travel back to
big K.
The
the
big
big K, travel back to Neverwinter. When you guys arrive, this is
Eisen gets in the big K and then has a slight sad moment because he remembers something.
just like ha. Oh.
Pet buzz.
Single manly tear rolls down the cheek.
Get back in there, dear.
Almost enough to make a man cry, but not this man.
As you guys arrive back to Neverwinter, one of the first consequences of the Order having been kind of removed from the equation presents itself as the Big K itself shuts down, and you can almost see, like, obviously it's a wooden car, but it powers itself down, like all the color drains from the wood. It like becomes like cracked and dry. And you can if one of you like pops open the hood, you see like the energy core that is powering it has completely turned black. So instead of like it used to look like a crystal ball that had like swirling energy inside of it, it's now like a black onyx like bowling ball sized crystal. Tony mentioned,
Oh, hey, this happened in my Prius a couple weeks back.
it's gonna cost you $15,000 to fix. Because these batteries are fucking stupid expensive.
Yep.
Tony mentions that it's not permanently like disabled or dead, but what used to be a very simple just sort of recharge is now going to cost and take a lot more time because the Order's resources have been dispersed. He mentions that while you guys were away, and yeah, just to give you an idea, your time spent in the dome, you guys had left probably, it was like maybe like late like early summertime when you guys arrived at the dome. It's now very much into like late summer, early fall. You guys spent like a good month or two, almost 3 months inside of the dome with how the loops were transpiring. And Tony mentions, like, in the time that you guys have been away, he had gone back to the ruins of the Order, had harvested kind of what he could, what bits of information, and he's been sort of squirreling that away and storing that inside of his own tower. So you now have kind of like what remains of the Order's resources available to you. So research materials, what sort of magical crafting you might be able to like cobble together. You basically have like like a miniature base, a miniature sized Order of the Rose instead of Tony's Tower to try to make use of that you can. And very specifically, you do have the laboratory, so you can continue to produce fantasy grenades if you would like, but you're definitely not as equipped as you could have been. But that leads us into the first little bit of individual things that everyone is going to do, because we're going to have ourselves a little...
Do we have any intel on what the Legion's been doing while we were away for months?
There is Tony mentions that there is a briefing planned with the High Council, because they have been briefly like brought up to speed on what happened with the Order, but everyone wanted to wait for what was the like result of your mission to try to get another artifact to try to kind of tip the scales, because now, at least for the time being, the artifact weight is now 3-2. In terms of what you guys have and what they have, what the Legion has.
Can we have a refresher on what those are? Because we now have the Eye.
You have the Philosopher's Stone.
And the Philosopher's
You have the
Stone.
Eye of Kronos, and you have the Crown of... Oh, no, you don't have the crown. They have the crown. Hang on. Let me... But in terms of your refresher, though, the split of the weapons is... You have 3, they have 2. You have the Bolt Spear, Spear of Time, Philosopher's Stone. They have the Blade of Embers and the Crown of Ice.
Wait, so we have
We
3
have-
now?
Wait,
You have 3.
we have the
And they have 2?
Philosopher's
I thought they
Stone.
had the Bolt Spear. Because
No, they
they
had
the first thing.
No, they had the
they have the knife.
They have the crown and the knife, and they have the Phoenix blade, and they have the crown, and they have the Crown of Ice.
Okay, because I thought that's one of the things they would have gotten. Because wasn't the Bolt Spear at the?
No, Tony had the Bolt Spear.
Okay.
That was the only reason they don't have the Bolt Spears, because Tony had held on to that after the incident at the mountain, because he was studying things.
Okay, so we have the Philosopher's Stone, the Eye of Kronos, and the Bolt Spear.
Yes. So you are you are technically up on weapons and have one dragon ally, but you also don't necessarily know what they have as well. Because they, if for just as a brief refresher as well, they also have an army at least 50,000 strong.
Okay. Cool.
We're fucked.
We have a dragon.
Do I have a dragon? Dragons are beefy.
I have an army. We have a Hulk.
We have a Hulk. He is green.
He is green.
Correction, I have a dragon.
It's like
Bold of you,
Amiria has a dragon. You have a friend who has a dragon.
We have a friend
Who has a dragon?
who has a dragon.
It's like, that is not as good of a one-liner. It's like we are tangentially related to dragon. We are 6 degrees of separation from dragon.
All right.
But that leads us into the fun of any post level, which is our little time skip. So I know each of you had some things that I had given you some time to think about. We're actually going to start with Amiria, because she has one of the biggest changes and is taking advantage of one of my new favorite things about Tasha's Cauldron of Anything, which is you can completely change your subclass if you want.
Yay!
So,
What?
yeah, so what you can do is if you take 1 month of in-game time, you can change your subclass. And you do nothing for 30 days. And it's basically 30 days of training, and you can change your subclass to something else.
That's really cool.
But, Amiria,
Yes.
you all arrive back at the tipsy table after about a week or so of being away, or what felt like a week to you. Turns out it was almost 3 months. And you are led to one of the rooms. It's a interesting moment where you kind of like stand in this like fairly barren and empty room, and you like kind of think to yourself, wonder to yourself how long it's been since you've had like a solid 4 walls that didn't move beneath your feet for as long of a lifetime that you've had. And when you go to sleep that first night, you have a dream, and that dream pulls you into the night sky, and you are pulled up past the stars towards the moon until the only thing you can see is a bright and vast white expanse. And you hear like what almost sounds like a soft like ringing of chimes in your head, and just a compelling feeling to find to find the Temple of the Moon, to find someone who can help you to, understand and grasp at this strange feeling. And when you wake up the next morning, well rested, you wake up with three memories. One, the feeling, just like the smell that is crisp, like nighttime air, just like that light briskness. You have a feeling of like renewed purpose, a feeling of accomplishment and desire. And finally, you, again, the last thing that kind of rings in your mind is, again, that soft, like, ringing of chimes. It sounds almost like a soft female voice compelling you forward to discover more about this dream. You're able to fairly easily navigate the city of Neverwinter and find the Temple of Saloon. And when you arrive, there is it's like a very obviously older elvish man, which is says a lot about his age, because when elves actually start to show their age, they are very, very, very old. From your experience, he must be almost a century old, if not older. And
a century old?
Yes. Elves are immortal.
Elves live to be like 700 centuries or something. Like, not 700 years or so, so like 7 centuries. You said a century, so he's like almost 100.
No, I'm sorry.
That's younger than me.
No, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say
Sorry.
he's a teenager. Then.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So, no, he appears to be almost 1,000 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant by. Sorry, I meant millennia, not century. That was my misspoke.
That's what I felt like you were.
Yeah,
meaning,
no, it was. He looks about 1,000. He appears to be about a millennia old, which is very, very old for elves. And as soon as he sees you come to the temple, there's like a soft smile crosses his face. Like, kind of squints up his eyes, puts on like little pince-nez spectacles, and kind of walks over to you. It's like, oh, hello. Not often we get new individuals in the temple. How may I help you?
I had a dream, and I think this is where I'm supposed to be right now.
Well, often the goddess of the moon will come to us in dreams, compel us forward. If you don't mind me asking, what happened in your dream?
Drawn towards the moon and just felt like someone was calling me towards here, but whatever I need to do after this day, I think I need to learn what's here first.
Very well, very well. Traditionally, when the goddess makes a call of this kind, she wants to set you on a path, she wants to set you on a way forward that she knows will both serve the goddess herself and the individual in question. If you don't mind me asking, what is it that you do? I can see from your garb a monk of some kind, but if you don't mind me inquiring, what is your profession? What have you done recently?
Interesting question. A lot more conversing with dragons than I used to do. Adventurer? Maybe?
Plenty of those around, I can assure you. He turns and kind of looks you over a little bit, like kind of up and down, and it's like, for someone as young as you are, you do certainly have a look about you. Older than you should be, but you don't quite fit. It's like a coat that's just a little too large or a little too small. You can squeeze yourself into it. Come. And he leads you into the back of the temple and kind of sets you up in a library. It's a very small library, and places down in front of you a book, a religious text embossed with the sigil of the moon on its front. And he says, "Well, if she is calling to you, it sounds like she might be. This is the perfect place to start. If you need anything, tea, food, instruction, I will be at the altar. Don't hesitate to call."
Thank you.
And Amiria, I would like you to please roll me 3 intelligence checks.
Okay. Intelligence. Oh no, I have a -1.
Oh no.
Oh no.
8, 6, and 3.
Okay.
Ouchie.
It's a dry tome. It's dry religious historical text. You feel yourself nod off once or twice, but after a couple of days of coming back pretty much every day, you finally crack the nut. And you're able to kind of sort and discover that when someone has a dream like you had, traditionally it's a call to action by one of the gods. They want you to, in some way, shape, or form, represent them, become their champion, and take up the mantle that is their cause. Saloon specifically being one of the goddesses of healing, and in a twist that makes you smile a little bit, is one of the patron goddesses of sailors and privateers. And the more you kind of dive through this text and, you know, speak with the priest, you are able to kind of like feel this tug, like this ethereal light tug, that same, again, feel of the crisp evening air, that same sound that kind of draws you to a little bit of a guild hall, not far from the clerical district, where you meet several monks there, and like through talking with them and through kind of conversing and talking about what you've experienced and what's like kind of been going through your mind, you find what you feel is a path forward. It's the way of mercy. It's described to you, where both harm and healing are the same, are two sides of the same coin. And once you finally have that conversation, you lay your head down to rest. That next evening, you have another dream, and this is one that takes you to a place that you're slightly familiar with. You return to the white space, that large, round, gilded table, the windows that you guys would take to go to different areas of the time loop. The one thing you notice is now there's, like, when you arrive there, this first time you're kind of standing outside, structure has started to form in this space. So where once you could kind of see the outlines of like walls and doors and windows, you can now see what looks like to be like the framing. So like you can see like rough framing of what appears to be like some large house or room. You walk in and you see that center table, and sitting on one chair at the opposite end, you see like this shimmering silver outline of a beautiful woman, veiled entirely in black and silver, and within like every bit of her clothing, it seems like stitched and twinkled with like shining starlight that runs through the fabric. And as soon as you see her, this feeling of like calm comes over you as you recognize the goddess Saloon sitting in front of you. She motions for you to take a seat, if you would like to.
I will.
As soon as you sit down, you hear this. There's like, again, that soft ringing of chimes that echoes throughout this chamber. And the goddess looks to you with a smile and holds her hand out, offering her hand to you. Do you take it?
Yes, but like not super confident in it.
Okay. Tell you what. Roll an insight check.
Oh man, I am rolling bad today. 12.
12? Okay. It's a goddess or the avatar of one. They're mysterious and powerful, but you're fairly certain she's not going to try to hurt you.
Fair enough.
All right. So she holds her hand out again, that same soft smile. Do you take her hand?
Yes.
So as soon as you place your hand on top of hers, you feel this like radiating, like almost crackling warmth run up your arm, and like shoot through your entire body, and you like almost feel yourself filled with moonlight. And as she pulls her hand away, your entire which arm did you use, left or right? Left. As you pull your hand away, you look at your left hand. And in the palm of your hand, almost like a tattoo carved into your skin out of silver, you see a crescent moon embedded in the palm with tendrils of silver running over the back of your hand, up your arm, forming this intricate web of like star patterns and galaxies up your arm, all in silvers and golds. And as you like look at that and like almost marvel at it for a moment, you hear the goddess speak for the first and only time that she's been sitting there this whole time, and she says to you, "You have been blessed and touched as my champion. Go forth and protect the world we love so much." And in that moment she speaks, you then snap awake again. And as you wake up and you look at your left hand, the tattoo, that tattoo still remains, and you feel your arm empowered, like almost like as though like some new energy has run through your entire body. What I'd like you to do is please pick one level 1 spell. And you now have imbued in your hand a magical tattoo that will allow you to cast one level 1 spell once per long rest.
Tattoo squad.
Woo!
You can figure out whatever you want that to be when that occurs. And
Okay.
the after this dream, your studies redouble, and it takes a long month of hard study. But through both the inspiration of your meeting with the goddess and some of your new friends that you met at the dojo, you are able to complete your training and accept the way of mercy as your new monastic tradition.
Yay!
Congratulations, magical tattoos and a new subclass.
I'm a punch healer now.
You are a punch healer.
She protect, but she also attack.
So a little bit like Eisen in terms of angry heal.
Angry heels.
She's like, slap you in the face, 1d8 heal.
Have your heal, Baka.
The tsundere healer. Amiria, is there anything else you wanted to do in your during some of your time off? Anything specific? Anything you wanted to explore?
Oh god, this is gonna be rough since my intelligence sucks ass, but I did want to go through everything that we saved from the Order of the Rose, just like book-wise, to see if
Okay.
there's any knowledge, because I know the least.
Okay.
You are welcome to talk to Karma if you want to.
Yeah, I'll say this. If you want, you can wait and see if any of the other any of your two companions were also planning to go through that, so you can get some bonuses.
That would be best, because I'm stupid.
You're street smart. You're very street smart. And then there's going to be, and then just so everyone's, there's going to be a couple things that all of you will do together, like the briefing with the council and stuff like that. Right now, we're more focused on individual things. Eisen, was there anything you wanted to do during your time off?
I had a hard time thinking about this. It's like, I think what he would do is he's he has a very intimate like not like or like knowledge and like workings of like the city guard and stuff like that because he's done a lot of things with them. I think he would spend his time trying to strengthen the city's defenses, figure out what needs to be done, try to maybe even set up outer perimeters and like warning
Okay.
like anything to help strengthen the outer
Trying to
defenses
bolster the defenses of
the city. Yeah.
Okay. Do me a favor. Roll. What would this be? Roll me 3 intelligence checks, please.
Intelligence.
Because this is construction and
more like it'd be like tack.
Well, intelligence.
Well, because if you're trying to construct something and like strengthen, like physically strengthen the city, like build a warning system, build a like help construct like weapon like anti-siege weapons
to do that,
or
but
things
wouldn't
like
it
that.
be more like wouldn't it be more wisdom on like
if you were specifically trying to like
tactical stuff?
If you're specifically trying to like work with the guard in terms of like, hey, I've experienced like some stuff out in the world, this could be helpful for when the time comes, that's wisdom. If you're trying to more physically strengthen city defenses, that would be intelligence because that's more of like technically engineering.
Okay.
So like pick one. Like which would you rather do in terms of are you looking more to work with people or more work physically on the city itself?
Well, that's why I'm like there's people to do that. That's why I'm like it's more of like working with them. So that's why I'm like wouldn't it be more whatever, I don't care. It's just it's gonna it
And you can intelligence or wisdom, that'll just determine like who and what you're doing. Who and what you're doing, giggity. We're all 12.
yeah.
So 3 intelligence or 3 wisdom. Because it's more about determining the outcome. Like, will the city guard be stronger and more prepared, or will the city defenses be stronger in the event of a siege? That's kind of your outcomes you're working with.
Can I figure out what would be more? Can I make a check to figure out which one would be more beneficial, or which one needs the most help?
Okay, for that. Okay, if you're trying to if you want to like do that determination, roll me an intelligence check first.
Okay. 19.
They both seem fairly pressing, but like if you're talking like 6 to one, half a dozen to the other, you have to pick one. It really does feel like the guards, they're not unprepared. They've been in conflicts before, but you also know from your own briefings that like the actual fighting force of the Neverwinter like guard, the people who are being summoned back to the city from like the surrounding areas, like frontier people, like people who are actually fighting, they're not in the city yet. So the city guard itself certainly needs some toughening up. The city walls themselves definitely like in terms of like weaponry and siege defenses, those definitely need strengthening. But if you're talking about the most pressing issue, guard training is very important.
Then I think I would probably go to. Would I go to Lady Andromeda first and present offer my skills in the training of the guard, or would I go to her and then she would send me to what's his face, or would you determine that? Because I know there's like the commander.
Yeah, at this point, you haven't been given carte blanche, but you guys are, since you've already sat in on the council and you've already like had those conversations, you would feel pretty confident just going to the Varus, the guard, to begin like to do this sort of training.
Oh, I meant like. Okay, I guess I go to Varus because there was that like general or whatever at the meeting.
Yes, he's not in the city right now. Okay. His job is to gather the surrounding forces. So yeah, gotcha. No, you would not have gone. You would definitely not go to him.
So I'd go straight to Varus.
You would go talk to like somebody within the guard itself to set this up. So 3 wisdom check, please.
Since we already know him. Not bad. A 15, a 19, and a 12. So 14, a 21, and 17.
Okay. You have the first month is rough. The first month is like almost like so annoying that you almost want to give up, because like it's not that they don't have the desire or even like the ability. It's more of you have to kind of get past that like first level of fear of just like
being somebody
so supremely outnumbered. What's the point? There's a little bit of like Denethor of Gondor syndrome going on in the guard at the beginning of the time you spend with them. Sorry, you were gonna say something?
Oh, it's just like even doing like the medieval reenactment stuff. Like when you get a new fighter, when you get them all in armor, it's like I've always referred to it as the fear, and it's just a blanket statement of they're afraid to hit somebody, they're afraid to get hit, even though everybody's wearing like full armor and you couldn't possibly hurt anybody. It's just that underlying fear of they're just like and it's a different kind of fear, I guess, but it's a fear of like action. But this is more of like a fear of just more of depression of what's the point kind of fear.
And the first month is like first month you're basically fighting through the mental side of combat. Just like, yes, it's scary. Yes, this is terrifying. Some of you will die.
But that is a sacrifice.
And we will mourn you. But like that is the nature of survival in war. Months 2 and 3 get a lot easier, especially as they start to trust you a little bit more. They actually read up on some of your deeds and what's happened. Some more, and then what also helps is that over the coming months, more of the more seasoned fighters start trickling back into Neverwinter. And so you're able to mechanically, you're able to successfully train the guards up enough to where during actual siege combat, they would have been rolling with disadvantage. They now have straight just rolls in terms of siege combat. So you're able to strengthen at least the physical defenders of the city itself.
Can I make any charisma checks during this time to inspire, or like? Because I feel like part of it is knowing how is like the wisdom of learning to train somebody, but is there any type of thing that I could do? Like if someone's like, "Oh, that's impossible," like make like a performance check or like some very like some specific like if I wanted to do something just to make this also more interesting if we're gonna tell a story of like because. Part of inspiring, especially if it's a mental side of thing, that's more of an inspirational. Like
I'll say, roll me one charisma check. To as you're on your final day of training, as like the actual like commanders of these units would have returned to take over.
18 plus 5, I'm guessing, because it's not a it's not
just
a specific
just
one.
Straight,
it's just straight
this is just straight charisma,
okay.
Not performance or persuasion. So 18 plus 5, so 23. So, like, is there something specific you want to say? Are you just trying to be generally inspiring? Like, what's the goal? Like, what's like your goal?
Well, Eisen's style is more of like inspiration through action.
Okay.
Because like he does say things sometimes, but it's usually like
okay.
I feel like it should be flashy.
I'll say how about this?
How about he sets up a demonstration for the people, like for like he's picked a handful of like who he thinks has been like the best trained.
Okay.
And sets up a like a demonstration of like the skills and what they're capable of to like show, like here's the best of you and what like what they can do and what and also like himself being a part of it.
Okay.
And we set up like a slight kind of like target practice-y skirmishy thing where they have to they kind of run through a gauntlet of things.
Okay. So you're able to set that up. It's a dazzling display of like both prowess and intensity and it culminates with in an attempt at inspiration. It culminates in a 5-on-1 fight, you against your handpicked people, and it's a beautiful display of combat prowess and tactics as you have like a good almost 4,000 or 5,000 people watching you in the barracks, kind of surrounding you guys, watching this happen. And as the final blow of your sword rings off of a shield, and you have defeated these 5 opponents, and then go through and explain everything that happened and how all this works, and you've effectively created within from these handpicked people, you've effectively created almost small unit commanders, people who can lead these smaller subsections of the guard. A loud cheer goes up, and all of the more seasoned veteran commanders come up to you, shake your hand, thank you.
Well, and one last thing I'd like to say is that in that because it's not supposed to be him showing off. I mean, it's supposed to be him. So even at the end where it's yeah, he wins, but then I want it to be very clear that it's I'm going to be there on the front line.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll say as all of this wraps up, Varys walks up to you, and you remember that stone he had given to you, that red stone designed to summon the guards themselves. I think you've had that for the better part of a year now.
Well, nothing's happened in the city.
Exactly. No, nothing's you haven't had to use your bat signal. But what he does is he takes all of the guard captains and all of the commanders wear a beautiful red sash that is actually pinned with that stone itself. And as all of this finishes and wraps up, he comes up to you, wraps that around your shoulders underneath your cloak, and pins the sash together, indicating that you have been made a commander within the guard. In terms of when the fight comes, you'll be leading at least some of this group of men that you had helped train.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I didn't want it to be a tournament where I was fighting my own guys. I wanted it to be more of a thing where we set up a bunch of targets. There was mock advancing troops, and they were showing off the skills that they had learned. And then maybe at a crescendo at the end, there's a bunch that come through, and I can single-handedly
that's absolutely
use
what
a
happened.
bunch use a bunch of different stuff, not to fight my own men, but to fight a mock oncoming, to show that these are what these are your fellow men, these are what they have learned, these are what they're capable of. Watch them, be inspired by them, and also I will be there on the front lines fighting beside you. Yeah, it's not, I didn't want
Also
them to be fighting
shit.
me. Yeah, we can do this, you can do this, and these are going to be the men who will be leading you.
No, I would say all of that certainly happens. You're mainly used for the fact because it's
I'm just saying it's not an Eisen showing off thing.
Oh no, it's not designed.
What do you mean this isn't the Eisen show?
I mean at the end, yes. Oh, sorry, I spiked it there. At the very end of it, if there could be if things that even maybe his men couldn't stop just because of their training, but anything that they can't overcome, he wants them to know that he will be there.
It's more of you were used as an example because none of these men, well, okay, not none, but a majority of them don't have magical prowess. They're guards, they're soldiers, and it's well known that a majority of the people that you will be fighting within the Legion are fairly magically possessed. So the idea basically is when you were fighting them, you're basically used as an example of this could be a reasonable expectation of the magic users you will have to fight, and get ready for it, sort of thing.
Okay.
Other than that, is there anything you want to do during your time off other than what will be the group activities?
No.
All right, Karma. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Karma. Before we go to you, Eisen, you receive a letter from. You receive a letter that is completely unmarked, other than the wax seal that is red with an embossed R on it, a very fancy embossed R, dusted with gold powder as well.
R.
Yes. And when you open the letter, It's very short, and the letter itself reads, Eisen, when you have a moment, I need a favor. And it's signed, your Kenku friend.
Well, I owe him a favor. It's
You
not.
do.
He's not asking me for a favor. He's letting me know he's calling it in.
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
Remember that thing you said you'd do?
And remember that time where I watched you try and fail to seduce?
Remember
an
that time
actual
I
prostitute?
said I'd call for you and you wouldn't be able to ask questions.
He actually just shows up at the tipsy table later that day. He's wearing his dress doesn't necessarily change, but it's definitely it's nicer. He seems to have kind of stepped up in the world a little bit. So he's still wearing like all of his leather armor, and like you can only see one knife, but you assume there's probably 10 somewhere hidden on him. But he's got a very nice, like almost purple and like gold lined coat. There's a pin that you don't recognize the symbol, like kind of holding the coat there. But it's all definitely new, and he doesn't necessarily, like, he almost stands a little taller, a little bit more sure of himself when he arrives. Like in the time that in your absence, something has definitely changed with Rimond. But as he walks in and sits down at a table, he gives you a smile, as much as like a bird smile can. So like you can like see like the little bird teeth. You can see little bird teeth as he smiles at you, and says and greets you. He's like, "Eisen, my friend, it has been too long. I assume you have received my letter."
I did, and just what is it? It's a little.
he laughs
because it's like
you
are aware of what's happening.
Yeah, he laughs a little bit. It's like, "I assure you, it is not what you think it is."
I have a very vast imagination.
I'm sure you do. And he like kind of like wraps his claw on the table, and the door behind him opens, and you watch this shot, like, you know, it's a Kenku because it doesn't have wings, but like quite possibly the largest Kenku you've ever seen in your life walk through the door. It's an owl. It's a tawny barn owl Kenku, about like 6.5 feet tall, like jacked. This is a jacked bird. He's wearing like a crushed velvet jacket and suit. Like he looks like a bartender from like the 1920s, like classic Hollywood, like nicest bartender in the world. But just like again, like the biggest bird you have ever seen in your goddamn life. And he sits down at the table, and like as he sits down, you hear like the chair kind of like crack under his weight, and he stands back up immediately and just kind of stands behind Rimond, like as though he were like muscle at a mob meeting. And Rimond turns back to you. It's like, "It is a simple favor. My brother here." And like he kind of like looks sheepish for a moment.
Can I? I'm like, Eisen's a little bit like
the 5-foot raven Kenku, the giant 6.5-foot owl.
It's like, that's your brother?
Yes. Brother among, maybe not by blood, but in other ways.
Eisen's like surprisedness, kind of just like, oh, okay, like, you know, like just like it wasn't computing, and he's, you know, he's like,
why can one
okay.
eat the other? How are they related?
Yeah.
No, he's like, but he looks a little sheepish. He kind of like looks back and forth. My brother here needs a job, and I understand you are down a bartender. He is very capable.
That's it. You want me to give your brother a job?
Quite simple.
Sure. Yeah, of course. God, I was expecting I was gonna have to go kill somebody and not ask questions.
Oh no. I have other people for that. Like I promised you when we first met, I will never ask you something that would harm you. Only help me.
What if those two are mutually exclusive?
Never harm you. Only help me.
Yeah. He reaches out, shakes your hand, says, "Thank you kindly, my friend. I'm sure we will be seeing each other again very soon."
You're welcome.
Yeah. And as he walks out, it's like, "Oh, my apologies. One more thing. He will need every second and third Friday off per month, no questions asked."
I knew there was gonna be a catch. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Fridays are sort of our busiest days, if I'm being completely honest. Karma, like, rising up from behind the bar.
Karma's head pokes through like a floorboard in the ceiling.
Excuse me.
The owl Kenku kind of turns to all of you.
Eisen, like, I'll cover his damn shift, like punches the fucking punches the floorboard.
Just goes back up to the ceiling.
Shoves it back up.
The owl Kenku kind of turns to all of you. The owl Kenku turns to all of you, just like, "Oh, I recovered."
What?
I said, "I'll have it covered." Name's Barry. I'm gonna get to work now. Just walks around the bar.
If you could see our faces right now, it would make so much more sense. Our silence.
Just the stunned,
Eisen just like stare, like just. Okay.
Is he hot?
God damn it.
Sure, let's roll for that.
Roll for bird hotness.
Roll for hot.
How hot is the bird?
Hot bird.
This is without a doubt the most attractive bird you have ever seen in your life.
Sexiest fucking
like
bird.
to give you an idea of size, like he looks like a JoJo's character. Like he is jacked.
I didn't know birds had triceps.
Wait a minute. Where's Cat? Where's Catherine? Our blue jay maid.
Wait, isn't he an owl?
Don't eat our bird.
I'll say like as he like kind of steps behind the bar. Cat comes out. Cat comes from downstairs from cleaning your guys' room. It's like, "Hi everybody, I'm done cleaning." And just like retreats back up the stairs, and just kind of like you see like her head poke around the corner, just like as wide eyed as a bird can get, just like so it's just like whole
Heavy breathing.
Yeah, just very heavy breathing.
The question is the staring from, is he going to eat me or is he going to eat me?
Roll an insight check.
Jail.
Fail. I'm sorry, Morgan. I'm sorry we're like this. That's a 17 plus 6. So 23.
23. Is he going to eat me?
Catherine listening to this right now.
Oh, she's the one who gave me the idea for the beefy Aarakocra. She sent me a drawing she found. I'm just like, that's the new bartender. I'll send you.
I think
a
I literally
photo.
know the exact photo you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I literally know the literal exact.
Yeah.
Eisen walks up to the bar. All right, big boy. You think you can just walk in here? Because I owe your brother a favor, and
Didn't you just
make
say
me
yes?
a drink.
Didn't you literally
And
just say yes?
Better be impressed.
Okay.
Karma like pop. Didn't you literally just say he could have the job?
Shut up. I said he could have the job. I didn't say it.
It's
nice to him.
Eisen's like very, very quickly trying to reassert dominance in a
Yes,
situation
he's
he's
trying
lost
so hard.
complete control over.
Hey, it's exactly what Eisen would do, though.
Okay. you rolled a natural 20 on
God.
his drink making.
God damn it.
He like
Eisen's gonna be
he
like-
straight up like bar artistry, like flipping
Just
like he flips the bottles, he like bounces them off his elbow, like he like
behind the back, like bounces it off of his tail feathers.
exactly. It's like he flips it, like he like bounces it like 4 or 5 times with his elbow, like inverts 3 bottles at once into a shaker. Spins like spins the shaker like a basketball on his finger, and then pours you about like a rocks glass full of like this silver purplish liquid that like shines with the night sky. And as he sets it down in front of you, it's like, something very special. Enjoy.
How starstruck am I from just can I Eisen is attempting to remain cool after watching this display.
Charisma save. I'll say charisma save with disadvantage because of how like good the show was.
He's trying to remain cool.
Yeah. You're gonna have I know you have a very high save, so that's why it's with disadvantage. So it's a +9 to your charisma save.
I have a +9. God.
Yeah, that's why it's a disadvantage.
Then I still rolled a 20, 22.
Fuck.
Because I rolled a 13 as my lowest.
God, I fucking hate you. Is there such a thing as double disadvantage? You're very impressed, but you're able to kind of do like instead of like just like the whole like leaping to your feet, just like, oh my god, you're like lean back.
I'm not trying to like be like, oh yeah, that wasn't anything. I'm just like trying literally not to like the jaw to like hit the table.
You feel your jaw drop, and then you do like that thing where like you stroke your beard and just kind of are able
Bring
to
it
cover
back
up.
Yeah.
Able to cover it up just enough.
Well,
but yeah, and he the funniest thing about the whole thing is that like this impressive like display of barmanship, he presents it to you just like, ta-da. Just like nonchalant, stone face, like you can't read this man. You cannot read this bird at all.
If you've ever seen the show The Expanse, you know who I'm talking about. Eisen very calmly grabs the drink, takes a sip.
All right.
What does it taste like? Does my brain explode?
Roll me a con save with disadvantage.
That one, come on. I rolled a nat one.
Okay, so it's 2. All right. This is without a doubt the best drink you have ever tasted in your entire life. Like having sipped this, it's like an explosion of both like
the only
fruit.
time I want to roll a nat one.
It's like an explosion of fruit flavor mixed with like the heavy like the heaviness of alcohol, but like none of the actual like burn. And like as like you take like one sip, like trying it, and then just immediately down the entire thing, and then like as you finish it and like you like finish that like final gulp, and it's just like, oh, just like that wonderful like kind of exhale of enjoyment.
I feel like I like
and then
boom,
and,
just
no,
face just
no, it's not face first. Like you exhale in enjoyment. And then it feels like somebody hits you in the brain with a brick of just like, and it's just like, and you are, and let's see, it's like, I would say it's probably like 11, 12 in the morning. You're drunk for the rest of the day. Like it's one and just boom. You are intoxicated. You are stumbling. You are mumbling.
Tripping. Stumbling.
Your name was Barry. Right? Was that his name?
Yeah, name's Barry. You enjoyed a drink.
Yeah. You. Job. Fuck God. Job's yours. It was good.
Cat the maid notices you, kind of like comes over, and you're able to see like her eyes kind of flicker like up and down, like just like her eyes are like basically running from top down.
Did you meet Barry? He's really good at what he does.
So Barry's like, nice
to meet you. Name's Barry.
Barry, this is Kat, what do you do again?
She cleans.
She like kind of says like, all right, Eisen, let's get you to bed maybe. I don't think you should continue drinking. And
I won. I did just have karma.
Yes, Eisen?
I had one, right?
Yeah.
One.
Barry special only needs one.
Very special.
Eisen like can't talk. he's like doing the
Wait,
the
wait,
lip smacking like.
Eisen.
What?
Who's your best friend?
Pep Boys.
somewhere in the distance, Amiria, like in the middle of like a single like punch, and like in her training, like her like entire body shakes. It's like something is awfully wrong right now.
I have a slight has been committed against me.
Oh fuck. But yeah, so Eisen, I'll say like at least for like the rest of this day, you are like Cat leads you back up to bed, and you are just whoomp. You are out. You are enjoying the fruits of your alcoholic labor. But yeah, you now have Barry, your new bartender. And that is where we're going to end our episode for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Dances with Dice. Please follow us on all social media platforms at Dances with Dice. And when you use the hashtag DWDcast or DWDart for anything you create, you can be a named NPC in our show. But once again, thank you so much for joining us, and join us every single Tuesday for new episodes of Dances with Dice.